Welcome to the Hype Coach podcast. I'm your host, Safa Al-Chami, and stick around while I discuss motivation, mindset hacks, and mental health advice that I guarantee to change your life. To another episode of the Hype Coach podcast. It's been another hot minute. Okay, but I'm going to bring you guys a fire because I have a killer guest that's going to help my little babes in the business space looking to elevate their business and their mindset. Megan, take it away.
Safa, thank you for having me on. I'm excited. This is a full circle moment for us. Well, I had you on my podcast and we were talking very different things, and I'm excited that bloody 2 years later, here we are.
I mean, our friendship is so freaking quick. Like, we met on a podcast. Funny thing is, the podcast itself went for 25 minutes. Me and Megan were chatting an hour and a half before, and we were just laughing, giggling, talking. I feel like I've met my best friend from across the world. Here's another fun fact. I've actually never met Megan in person. I'm as Arab as they come, and as you guys can see, she is white as they come. So literally, it's just a flourishing friendship. I value her, and you guys will understand why in a minute. So please introduce yourself to my listeners so that way they know how amazing you are, please.
Oh, love you. Hello, Hype Squad. I love this. I am a fellow Hype Queen myself. So yes, I'm Megan. I run a marketing agency called Pink Silhouette Marketing. So I am all about mindset times marketing, because you'll know if you are in any stages of your business, you can come up with the most epic strategy of your whole life. But if you don't have the desire to keep going or the will to keep going when everything you feel like you're doing is failing, like, you're just sort of setting yourself up for exactly that, for failure. So I work with my clients to, one, empower them, obviously, to believe that whatever business they want to create of their dreams, they absolutely can, but also with the strategy behind it. So coming from the marketing background that I have, I worked with a lot of agencies that threw a lot of marketing fluff, as I call it, at you, and a bunch of buzzwords that I was just like, it just doesn't really mean anything to me. So I break down all of that, and I just give you like the normal people speak of all of that crap that you can, all the information that we get from all of the sources. So I take the fluff out of the marketing and I just make it fun. I break it all down so it's just super simple, super easy. And I just like to be people's bestie in biz. So if you ever have any questions, and if you've ever sat with me and asked me about content that you can curate, make sure you have the ability to mute me or shut me up in some way, because I will talk, as I've alluded to, until like you literally say, okay, that's enough. So that's me.
Well, I'm so happy. And I think just your background in marketing is going to give a lot of really present tense strategies to those who really want it. I think I was actually speaking with my husband about this yesterday. Like, gone are the days where people just have a job, a 9-to-5 job, and that's it. People want more, and their normal salary is just not cutting it anymore. It's really not. Yep. I mean, we have the cost of living crisis, we have inflation, and it's just sweeping the world by storm. It's a silent killer. So people are trying to come up with new ideas, come up with a fresh new purpose, come up with all the bits and bobs that come along with not only just paying their bills, but also making a difference in the world.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I find. A lot of people, the money is amazing, and that's the thing, but they see other people who started their small business and are growing their small business, and they want that for themselves. And it's like their own outlet of a way to be creative, I suppose, as well. It's more than just that. And you get a whole community of small business owners, which is my favorite place in the whole world to play in, because it's just literally everyday amazing human beings just trying to make a difference, or just trying to monetize a little hobby they may have. And there is nothing you can't make a fucking business out of these days. I'm telling you right now, like, everybody has a unique skill, and you yourself are a unique skill in yourself. There is only one you. And literally, like, I've seen it all. I'm not just talking about candle businesses or whatever. And I guess in the space of mindset, there's so many variables, but you can go into confidence and you can go into all of these things.
So the amount of businesses in Western Sydney, because there is a shitload of people here, there is a business born almost every single minute. Now, some businesses, unfortunately, have made the whole brand of copying other brands. And some businesses, and the original OGs, create massive amounts of products, massive amounts of like ripples in the system, and the rest of them follow. So you can make a skill out of nothing. So there is a business born every single minute in Western Sydney, I think all around the world. For me, my forte is service-based businesses. I tried product-based businesses. It doesn't work for me.
Marketing yourself. That's perfect.
Introduce yourself to my listeners here and show them why I love you so much, please.
As you've just literally alluded to, everyone wants to be a business owner for their own particular reasons, right? Whether it's like a creative outlet or whether they've seen somebody start a business, they want to make some money, or whether it's to bring extra income in for whatever reason. However, business is, I guess, it can be glamorized sometimes when you see the top influencers out there traveling the world, making all the money, working from their laptops. Service-based business, exactly how you've just described it, and say they want that lifestyle. And I picked on this niche a little bit, but my client is a candle maker and is absolutely killing it. Is a product-based business, for example. You need to think of the fact that you're going to, one, lose a bit of space in your house because you need to stock this product somewhere unless you want to open a warehouse from the get-go. And then it's with product-based businesses, if you bring it to life, or in terms of bring the products into existence before you test an audience for that particular product, you could be holding on to stock forever. So I'm all about market testing. And like we've just given you about 47 examples just now about how you can test and learn on an audience for a particular product or service.
Giving a solution to the problem. I like a solution to someone's problem. And we live in first world country. We have 1,000,000,001 problems. Like the problems that I have today, for example, is I don't want to freaking fold washing. Someone come and fold my washing. I can't do bottle cooking. So someone come cook me a meal.
Yep.
I told my daughter, I don't even care if you want to be a makeup artist or a hairstylist. But make sure you're the best makeup artist and you're the best hairstylist anyone has ever to come.
Yep.
So it's not just creating the solution, but it has to be the best solution. So if I know I'm looking at who am I going to go to do hair, your name immediately pops up. That is the brand that you're willing to create. So create the solution to someone's problem. And people have problems all the time. There is always a gap in the market. So much gaps in the market.
Yep.
You just got to really think.
Yep. And it doesn't take long if you ask someone either. Like you could literally ask like 3 different people, like, what's the most annoying thing about your day today? Right? It could be driving my kids to school. It could be meal prepping. It could be forwarding all of my washing away. It could be like literally a million ideas that can come to you. Like people invent life hacks and they're just the best people in the whole wide world. Because if I can shorten my time to get from here to here, bring it in, and then I've got my like ending, we are all willing to pay for that because time is so precious, right? That's the only thing that we cannot purchase. And just to touch on what you said with your daughter, like no matter what she does in her industry, personal branding, you can replicate a service, you can replicate a product, right? Anyone, as you just also said, anyone can copy a product, do whatever. Nobody else can be you. And in like 2024 is the whole era of personal branding, right? Look at anything you buy. And this is an example I always use as well. So Kylie Jenner, who brings out every makeup product on the planet, right? I can guarantee you, I could probably go to Kmart and get maybe a better one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to buy hers because it's her. And people will buy into the story. So if you're creating a business and there's no saturation in business, there is always something for everybody. But again, if you've got a like-for-like product with somebody down the road, why would I buy yours instead of that person, right? Or I love you so much and I literally am obsessed with everything that you do. I don't really give a shit what you're selling. I'll buy it. I don't care because I love you. And this is the relationship that you just need to create with people. And the way that, social media, we can touch on it like forever, I suppose. But that is the whole thing. You literally have a platform where you're opening the world into who you are as a person, right? And why you do the way that you, way that you do. If you look at big brands, why do you think that they've got, look at what our team orders for coffee every morning, right? What has that got to do with their product or service? Nothing. That's all.
I actually first seen that video. It was a bunch of schoolgirls. I think they were at the school's carnival, like the sports carnival. I think they were in year 12. And they all just recorded it. Every single person followed.
Yep.
My favorite brand, I think her name is Brittany Saunders, the owner of Fate.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't even know who the hell I am. Let me tell you that I know who she is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean? She has no idea. Brittany Saunders, if you ever watch this part, I'm talking about you, girl. I love her stuff because she really warm.
Yep.
She makes you feel wanted. Yep. She packs up her thing with orders. Like she takes something so boring and makes it so fun.
Yep. Exactly. And you follow them forever.
If she's on a podcast, I'm listening.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be a random podcast you never would have ever come across, but because she was on it, you're just like, listen.
Funny thing, I just remembered like a call because I did business coaching as well. It's more really branding coaching. So like bringing the self to like creating that confidence from within. Because I truly believe that you are the brand. I don't care what you sell. You are the brand.
Yep.
Okay? Your face, your body, your body shape, your style, your smile, your content strategy. You are the brand.
Mm-hmm.
I had this lady call me about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And when she spoke to me, I initially, because I offer 15-minute consultations over the phone to get them started on whatever. We see if me and them are right fit. If we mesh, if we don't see eye to eye, they can duck out. I'm not going to cry myself to sleep. So she calls me and she says, I have a brand. I have multiple things in my brand. I do this and I do this and I do this. And then I'm like, okay, what is the underlying moral of the story? This lady wants to help people. And I said, so I can see that you want to help people. She said, yeah, but it's a lot more than that. So she went from talking about products like soaps and medicinal healing products and all the crystals and all that stuff, to then talking to me about a Muslim women's retreat. And I explained to her, okay, how are you going to sell this to people? Because I said to her, are you interested in business coaching? She said, no, I'm just interested in a chat. I was like, okay. How would you like me to help you? How can I offer my services to you? Whatever that looks like to you, I'm happy to do that. And then she went on to explain to me she wants to do a Muslim women's retreat. I go, okay, how are you going to sell this to someone? I'm just going to send emails out. And I was like, that's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started to argue with me. She's like, yeah, but why? I go, I won't lie to you. For me, and it's not just a Muslim women's retreat just for everyday women. It's for business. Women work time poor. I won't lie to you. I don't have more than 10 minutes to look at my emails. It's not something that's eye-catching. It goes straight to spam.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to send it by email. I'm like, I'm not lying to you. It's not good enough. And she's like, why? I go, because I get spam emails all the time and people asking me for $1,000 and they're saying that my leaked account is overdue when it's not. How are you going to differentiate between a spam email and a real email that is genuinely asking for assistance and guidance?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, I don't want to be on social media. And I said to her, listen, for me, it's just not going to work because people are not going to know about you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put my face out there. I'm like, okay, if you're not willing to put your face out there, who are you going to hire to be the face of your brand? Oh, I don't want to. I'm like, well, the people want to associate. Trust is the currency of the brand. If you have no trust, you have no currency. Thus, you have no business. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, I've done business marketing in the past. And I'm like, yeah, but this isn't business marketing. This is business establishment.
Yeah.
So she goes, I have a degree in business management. And I said, yeah, but you don't have a business to manage yet. You're looking for business establishment here.
Yes, completely. And it is. And it's hard to hear, but you probably did her a favor in all fairness. But what you can learn in a university degree, and I'm talking marketing, obviously, specifically here, it doesn't mean shit in today's society. If I'm not keeping up, it's like trends evolve by the hour. You need to have your finger on the pulse consistently. It's not, oh, well, when I did my degree, I learned this. It's completely irrelevant. And nothing.
No, the people have to see your brand 8 times. Now it's 12 times.
Correct. And
sorry,
well, I can constantly, and we're getting worse and worse as people, what I call a Netflix society, that if I need to get on demand, I can. If you're not grabby enough to get my attention, mate, you've got no hope of like me even watching your content. Do you know how long you have to grab somebody when they're in a scroll hole? 0.7 of a second.
Freaking hell, it used to be 3 seconds.
Yep, 0.7 of a second is where we're at. Yep, not even a second. Grab people's attention in a world of people screaming. Be the one that's whispering. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is. And it's hard. And that's not to put anybody off. This is why you need to have something that people are like, has she posted today? Yeah, I need to see. Or what is she up to today on her stories? Like, people need to buy into you as a person, because a faceless brand, and you know what, those faceless quote pages, I'm sick to death of seeing them. Like, I get it. Like, we all love good quotes. I can go on ChatGPT and ask it to give me 273 really empowering quotes. However, what I'm saying is, if you are a person that I'm obsessed with you, if you're selling like pet leads for iguanas, I'm going to buy it. It's just because it is. It's like I watch what coffee you order every morning. It's the same coffee as me. And it's just relatability. We're in a world where we went through COVID. We could not connect with anybody physically. We got so reliant on digital connection. Social media, we're relying on those. You feel like Brittany Saunders is your best friend in the whole wide world, right? Digital connection is the same thing.
I bought a pair of her pants. And they're for a curvy girl, and we bought curvy girls here. Oh, yeah. And I was like, these are the epiphany. These are what you need. Yeah, that's how it is, right? Like, we'll have to buy into your brand. So I'll tell you, just as content creator needs to be a content consumer.
Correct.
So if we are going to talk about content, what is your method or equation for really good content?
Yeah.
That sells.
Great question. So, and I'm glad that you added that sells at the end of it, because I swear if another person says to me, I want my reels to go viral, or I want my TikTok to go viral, and I explain to them, that's not going to make you $1 million, right? I get an interesting look back. So I run 4 content pillars for a strategy for all of my clients. Okay. And it will make sense to you. Okay. So my first one is education. Okay. So you need to explain to people what the hell you do, right? I want you to tell me what your products are. I want you to give me the juicy details of them so that when I'm obsessed with you enough to literally go into the details, I've got it there. You've told me what it is. Okay. I'm not guessing. My second pillar is entertainment. Okay. People need to relate to you. All right. And if you are not confident in showing up on camera or doing other things, I bet you it's considerably deeper rooted than that. Saf will know that to be true. And that is why you would work with somebody to bring that out of you, because that shit will sell you as well. Yeah. So my third one is the solution. So we want the benefits, not just the features. Okay. So don't tell me every single feature, right? You're already educating me, right, in depth, but give me the benefits. Tell me the benefits of what I'm going to get from working with you. Okay. Like we've just talked about our attention spans and how podcasts are still such an engaged medium is epic. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's auditory. It's not visual, right? So we can only visually consume content for a certain amount of time. And then my third one is personal branding. Okay. I want to know what coffee you got this morning when you went to your local cafe. I want to know what your dog's name is. I want to know like what your partner's name is. We are bloody curious little Georges. Okay. So we give people an insight into all of that. Again, if you have a similar car to me, if you drink the same coffee in the morning, if you enjoy acai bowls as much as I do, right? Again, this is what you're relating to. And to give Brittany Saunders is a great example of this, speaking of being curvy as well. If you're like, fucking pants never fit as they should ever, and it's so annoying, right? Instantly, you're like, oh my God, same. So you're relating to people. So you need to be relatable. So they are my 4 key pillars of content. And I'll tell you right now, the entertainment piece will always be the most engaged with piece of content, right? Because you're like, oh my God, yeah, no, totally understand that. That's really funny. That gets a like, right? What will be your least engaged with piece of content will be your education piece. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm consuming your content and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Great. My mind is already off somewhere, either implementing that or being like, I must remember that for later, right? But I'm still scrolling. So I've taken the time to watch it all, and I can prove this as well. The amount your video is liked is the less it's actually watched. Okay. Because if I'm liking it, I'm like, yeah, like, cool. Yep. Like, whatever. That's funny. However, if I'm engaged in something, I'm consuming something, I'm like, and I might not like it. And I'm like still going about my day, but I'm thinking about it, and I might have sent it to somebody, and I might be telling it to somebody about it later. And I look back and I'm like, I haven't even liked it. So it's just these metrics we do not look at. And these metrics we don't appreciate because it's, I didn't get 1,000 likes and 1 million views. Like it doesn't matter.
So how do we know if it's less likes, less watched? Sorry, more likes, less watched. How do we know it's more watched?
Yeah. So you want to look at your analytics for all of this information. And I literally geek out on this stuff. And I really encourage people, look at your, whatever platform you're running, right? Look at your Facebook analytics. It's Meta, right? So Meta, Facebook and Instagram. Look at your TikTok metrics. Look at all of those different platforms. Okay. And if you're a LinkedIn person, look at those platforms and they paint you such a clear picture, i.e., what do we use Facebook for? We're more likely to read stuff on Facebook. Okay. We're looking at things, whatever. So that's one platform. Look at Instagram, right? The demographic of Instagram is probably like our age-ish. You're looking sort of like on the, I don't really want to say this, but you know what I mean? Like the older edge of the digital generation. The TikTok generation, they're the young ones, right? They're the ones flipping through content like rapid fire that are bringing our view rates to 0.7 a second. So all of these tell you a picture. And again, depending on where so all of this means nothing unless you understand who your target demographic are. Yeah. If I'm targeting a product at 18-year-old girls, I ain't posting a thing on LinkedIn. Where am I going to be? Probably on TikTok.
What? Just to give context to everything, because I think a lot of the listeners will understand my brand.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a whole brand to talking to the camera.
Yep.
An entire brand. by talking to the camera. Like I'm like a bobblehead, man. People know this part of my face really well. I made an entire brand. I stopped going, when I say viral, the actual category for viral is 10K. I stopped going viral and stopped growing on TikTok around last March-ish. And I was like, okay, something needs to change. So I spoke to my friend Ella. If you guys don't know Ella, her name is the socialette. She told me that something needs to change. Like, you need to change up your content. Mm-hmm. And I just changed up my content. I hired an editor, I hired a virtual assistant and whatnot. So I can focus on just being a therapist, and it is taken by storm. So I think consistently evolving with your brand, how it is now, is not what it will be.
Yeah.
You have to change with it. You have to be willing to be flexible, malleable. You have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're not selling to no one anymore, and then your content's going to go.
Yep, 100%. And that is such a great point as well, and something that we seem to forget. Like we as humans never stay the same, right? If you're in the personal development world, mate, you're changing like bloody rebirth and all of that, like all of the time, right? We change and we evolve as humans. So if you're trying to speak to people that you are no longer either, I guess, resonating with, or you're not, do you know, I'll give you a really good example. I bought my new car, and so I've always liked nice cars. I have always done this whole thing, but it was like this next level of myself. I had evolved as a human into I was at the top of my corporate game back then. I inherited the pay rise and this car allowance that then people stopped being able to resonate with me. I wasn't like, people weren't understanding me as the person that I was. And I started going out there, and it wasn't to be like, oh, look at what I've got. It's literally just like, you know what? And then the types of people, so I stopped creating content for those types of people. I was like, oh, I'll stop posting about it now. I'll just go back to posting what I was posting before. Got the same thing. But then I was like, you know what? No, I'm a different person. I'm going to attract the new types of people that are going to come along with me on this journey. Change my content strategy up. Again, you're having conversations with people, right? So I'm speaking to the new type of person I'm trying to attract in my life. Guess what? We went straight back up, and we stopped there. Oh, she's showing off her Porsche, or oh, she's doing this. It's just like, oh my God, how amazing. And
yes. I guess that it's as you evolve, your friends evolve.
Exactly.
Look at where you say followers as friends.
Yep.
If you look at, that's also going to change.
Correct.
So as a person of who you are, you've changed significantly over the last 6 or 7 years.
Yep.
No matter how much you're in business. So I think consistently evolving with that and accepting that it's completely okay to want more.
Correct.
And when you want more, you will going to come anyway. So just show what more you want.
Yep, exactly. It's awesome because like even people I used to follow years ago, say the rise of the influencer, we'll say what, like 8 years ago probably. Like Ashley Bynes is an example. I love her to pieces, but I found her less relatable once she had children. I don't have children, so I found her content more about her kids. I was like, oh, that's cute or whatever. But I guess from a relatability perspective, she was talking about her schedule as a mum and her schedule about all these things. Yeah. There was nothing wrong with it. That wasn't where I was at in my life. And again, like it's perfect because one, you're going to keep evolving as a person. Go and look at the people you have access to. Like you can listen to Gary Vee, like literally like he's speaking into your own ear holes for $0. Like you have access to these people. So use it to your advantage. Use it to be able to have those higher level conversations. Maybe you don't have a friendship circle you can have those with. I feel like I lose more and more people in my life as I'm going further in my business and in my personal development journey because you just don't relate to the same stuff.
Yeah, because your circle gets smaller and smaller, but it's get more valuable. You are the product of the people who you hang around with. If you hang around with big ballers, you're a big baller.
Yep.
Not because of what they have, it's because what information flies out of their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're more likely to succeed when you are in a room of highly motivated, empowered, self-development, motivated people, whereas if you were to hang out with your normal, regular school friends, and you don't see eye to eye with them, they can either see you as, hey, she's a show off, or two, they're going to talk shit because they believe that whatever you have is either passed down, stolen, some, whatever. You are the product of the people who you hang around with.
Correct. And your standards raise dramatically. Like you improve your circle. And success is a natural byproduct, right? So I know myself. If I'm like, all right, so, and again, this is just like an example, but if I've worked a 60-hour week, like I'm exhausted. It's a Friday afternoon. I'm like, I really could just take the afternoon off. I might just chuck on an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine on. I know in my own mind if that's going to serve me in this moment or if I'm being a little bit lazy, or if I've got more in me, I'm absolutely fine. If I went to a particular group of friends, they'd be like, oh my God, you've had the biggest week ever. Go and have 5 days off. Or I will speak to these people who I admire and they would be like, get your ass up, keep going. And you have a choice in those moments. You either lift and you keep going if that's what serves you, or you're like, oh no, that's okay. And you'll end up in the same spot.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of piggyback on that. The hardest times in your life will push you to the best times of your life.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So I seen this video yesterday. It's not the pursuit of happiness. It's the happiness of the pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
Who you become during the pursuit. It's for you, what lessons you learn along the way of the challenges. It's what you learn about yourself during that. So as long as you got you know that you're going to have a new tolerance level, new resilience level, new learning capacity, new ideas, new networking capacity, new everything.
Yep.
You're going to have a whole big sparkle in your eyes because you have such a zest for life.
100%. And to piggyback off of that is also you release the pressure off of yourself. You're not just like, oh my God, like I've got to succeed. Oh my God. It's not that nervous energy. Oh my God. It's just, I've got this. It's fine. I've absolutely got this. Are you going to have shit days? Of course you are. But are you going to be like, I'm going to be able to pick myself up. We're going to move on with this because I know everything I need. I can either go and find out, or I have whatever I need inside of me already. Like we're kind of good to go.
Along with the next question, how would you sell a market product? What would you say about that?
Sure. I can sum this, and you could say to me service or product or anything, my answer will always be the same. Okay. Who are your target audience? Okay. That's the first thing you need to nail down, because what people make the mistake of doing is creating content they enjoy consuming, but you're not talking to you. You're talking to your customer. And this is a business perspective, right? If you're running a content creator page, my advice is a little bit different, but I'm talking like if you're selling a product or a service. So you want to understand who your audience are, right? You need to highlight, again, the benefits of what they're going to get by buying your product, buying your service, investing in you as a person. And you also need to show up in the places that they hang out online, okay? Or offline. Yes. It could be offline as well. So again, to use my example, if I'm marketing something like a business coach or a service to 50-year-old men, for example, I ain't marketing that on TikTok. I know my father likes to scroll through TikTok and look at car videos, and that is all that he's using. And it's obviously not hugely on the space, right? Whereas I know professional men in that age bracket are typically hanging out on LinkedIn. So this is where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
So know your audience, understand how to speak to them, tell them how you're going to solve their problems, and then show up wherever the hell they are. That's it.
Yeah. Bingo. I know a lot of people do this. Let's say, for example, I have a business or a product. What is your stance on giving an influencer your product, whether you pay them or not? Influencer marketing, what is your stance on?
Great question. I love this. This is the juicy stuff. Okay. Let's talk influence marketing. Okay. Whether you like it or not, they play a huge role in the online space, right?
Yeah.
What I do say to businesses though is, again, do not look at vanity metrics. Just because you've got 500,000 followers don't mean a single thing, okay? If you're looking to engage influencers in your marketing strategy, I want you to ask them for their target demographic, who their audience are, where they predominantly hang out. Because I could have bought 500,000 followers, no problems at all. Easy done. Anyone can buy followers these days. But what you need to look at are their engagement rates, and also, ask them for their analytics. So who exactly are their audience? Because if you've got a product skewed for women and they've mostly got men following them, you're wasting your time. Okay. So that's my first one.
Yeah.
Let's be smart about this. My second thing on this is do not use them if you are at the part of the funnel where you're trying to convert people. You use influencers purely for awareness, right? They've got the amplification stage. Let them scream about your product. It's very top of funnel awareness. Please do not expect people are going to know every detail about your product or service just because they've seen an influencer post about it. Guarantee they've done a Sapphire and they've been like, oh my God, it was something that Brittany did. I'm going to like it. But at least it's the first gauge. And again, people need to see it 8 times before they do anything about it. So that's my second point. My third point is do not underestimate micro influencers. Okay. So these are our under 10K followers. You can have, and I've seen this, I've worked in the influencer marketing space, You can have an account with 4,000 followers. By our standards, that's not that much. Her engagement might be 10 to 15%, which is epic, right? Epic. And she is at the level where she's working really hard on creating herself as a brand, as a content creator. So she's working harder as opposed to someone who's looking at the $30,000 follower mark. Very different. You're looking at 1 to 2% engagement because it's obviously harder to speak to more people. So it has a place. Use it wisely and make sure you do your research into who they are. And if they're not willing to show you their analytics, delete them out of your DMs.
100%. And along with that, I think what you said about don't use the influencer to purely convert sales, use it purely for awareness.
Yes.
That is the cherry on top. Yeah. That is the meal.
Yes.
Don't use them to convert sales, use them to create awareness. And that is crazy. Because I've seen so many people message me and say, but we got less sales from why are we getting no sales? You must have bought your followers. And I said, well, there could be a whole number of things. When they are going back to your page, is your page even more convincing than I wrote?
Mm-hmm.
It can be extremely convincing. But if your page is not as convincing as me,
well, this is the thing. I mean, and that is a perfect example. Someone like yourself, right? You have absolutely no issues in front of the camera. So I can give you like this pen and I can say, Safa, go and talk to everybody about this pen. I could tell you nothing else. You're going to amplify that message. And then I go back to, I'm the one on my page selling my pen and I'm like, oh, would you please maybe try this pen out? Like, mate, I'm so boring. If your influencer is more exciting than your own platforms, that's a huge issue. But also, and this is something I'm working on with another client of mine who's about to launch a skincare range. Oh my God, it's epic. I can't wait. But I tried to explain to her as well, what are you telling people to do once they've seen it on the influencer's page? So when you're you treat influencer marketing like any marketing brief you would ever write. What are your expectations of your outcomes? Because you, and like Safa, somebody who does content creation for other brands, then if you had a very specific brief, you'd be like, okay, cool. I know exactly what objectives they're looking to do. I know exactly where to tell my audience where to go next. Where people go wrong is they want to send out all of these products to people who have these big high following, and then they appear in a story that expires in 24 hours with no link to go back to the website, with no call to action. That is actually the key. Is okay, cool. Like Safa sold me on this product, right? Where do I go next? And they go to your website and your website's a shit heap. That would be another reason you're not going to get sales.
Well, that's and it needs to go yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And if there's no in there, what's to say?
Correct.
Right? So that's literally just the marketing aspect.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
I've opened the kimono on this one. I think this is about it. Yeah. Oh, look, we can talk marketing strategies forever and a day. I really do. I really encourage people just to try and test things. I've taken the phrase, oh my God, it's not even in my vocabulary anymore, so I can't even bring it up. Testing and learning, trial and error, right? Yeah. There is no trial and error in marketing. Okay. And the other thing is some things just can't be explained, right? So you can have a piece of content go viral. You've got no idea why. We're at the mercy of the algorithms. We're at the mercy of people's moods. We're at the mercy of all of these different conditions, right? If you nail your 4 content pillars that I just ran through earlier, you're literally putting your best foot forward in terms of showcasing your product, your services, the benefits of it, who you are, like all of the things. But the game really becomes a mental one, because if you, for example, have a reel that goes viral, you get 100,000 views on this thing and you're like, oh my God, and you sit there and you wait and you're like, okay, well, the sales aren't coming in. I'm going to create a piece of content very similar to that piece, right? Maybe you only get 1,000 views on the next one. And then the mind games begin. So understand that going into this space, it can be really hard, and you will feel isolated unless you have a group of friends. And if you do, that's epic. But we need to normalize this thing of just, do you know what? I actually have no idea what to do next. I don't know. Leaning on people that do, and then trialing and learning, testing and learning. That's all it is.
Wow.
It's data. It's just
so. What do you find you? Tell me where people find you.
Where? If you want to check out my agency, I am Pink Silhouette Marketing. That's where I live. So that is, if you're interested in business content, and that's where you go. If the business stuff is not of interest to you, head over to my personal page. So at Megan Coleman with 3 underscores. And that is where you kind of get a bit of a mix of both. So I am very honest in my content. I'm going to really work with you. I'm just going to be honest with you and be like, you know what? Today I'm having a shit day. So let's normalize that and talk about it. So they are the platforms you can find me on.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in. I think you've given our listeners a whole heap of overwhelming information that they can go back and really use to transform their business or create their business or establish their business, whatever they are, wherever they are on the business timeline, as we say. I love you. Thank you so much for doing this with us. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yes. Oh, let's do that. My pleasure. Anytime. Hang out with you anytime.
Always. Bye, my love.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Hype Coach podcast. If you did enjoy this podcast episode, please share it on your socials. You can find me on IG, Safa Al-Chami, TikTok, The Al-Chami Life, and you can book a personal therapy package at my website, www.thehypecoach.com.au. I look forward to working with you. Let's grow.